Maybe your heart is not tired because life is too hard. Maybe your heart is tired because you have been holding on to things that were already trying to leave. You keep thinking about people who changed. You keep replaying words that hurt you. You keep waiting for closure, apology, love, or understanding from someone who may never give it to you. And slowly, without noticing, your peace becomes trapped in the hands of other people. But Buddhism teaches a powerful truth. You cannot heal while you are still fighting reality. You cannot become free while you are still begging life to go backward. And you cannot find peace while your soul is still holding what keeps breaking it. So today, breathe deeply and listen with an open heart. It is time to let life be, let people go, and finally, let yourself heal. 1. Stop forcing what wants to leave. Sometimes the more you try to hold something, the more it hurts you. When a person wants to leave, when a relationship starts feeling one-sided, or when life begins to change in a direction you did not expect, forcing it only makes your heart heavier. You may keep explaining yourself, keep waiting for them to understand, keep hoping they will become the person you need, but slowly you lose your own peace. Buddhism teaches that attachment creates suffering because we try to control what is not in our hands. We want people to stay, we want situations to remain the same, and we want life to follow our wishes. But everything in life changes. Letting go does not mean you never cared. It means you finally understand that your peace is more important than chasing someone who is no longer choosing you. What is truly meant for your life will not need to be begged, forced, or controlled. So let people go with peace. Let life move naturally, and give your heart permission to breathe again. 2. Accept life as it is. A lot of pain comes from wishing life was different from what it is. You keep thinking, this should not have happened, they should not have left, or they should not have treated me this way. But the more you fight what already happened, the more your heart stays trapped in the past. Acceptance does not mean the pain was right, and it does not mean you are happy about what happened. It simply means you stop wasting your energy arguing with reality. Buddhism teaches us to see life clearly, without anger, denial, or constant resistance. Some things will not go the way you planned, and some people will not become who you hoped they would be. But when you accept the truth, your mind becomes calmer. You stop asking the same painful questions again and again, and you begin to focus on healing. Peace starts when you stop fighting life and start learning how to move forward with a lighter heart. 3. Let people be who they are. One of the hardest lessons in life is learning to accept people as they truly are, not as you imagined they could become. Sometimes you see the good in someone so deeply that you ignore the pain they keep giving you. You keep hoping they will change, understand you, respect you, or finally love you the way you deserve. You remember their soft words, their good moments, and the version of them that made you feel special in the beginning. But slowly, their actions start showing you something different, and your heart becomes confused because you are holding on to who they were, while suffering because of who they are now. Buddhism teaches us to observe people clearly, without clinging to our expectations. This means you must look at actions more than promises. If someone keeps hurting you, ignoring you, disrespecting your feelings, or making you feel small, you must stop creating excuses for them. Maybe they have potential, maybe they have a good side, maybe they once cared about you, but potential is not enough to build peace. A person's real nature is shown through what they repeatedly do, not only through what they say when they are afraid of losing you. Letting people be who they are does not mean you become angry or cold. It means you stop trying to control them. You stop begging them to understand your pain. You stop explaining your worth to someone who does not want to see it. You stop forcing love, loyalty, and kindness from a place where they do not come naturally. When you allow people to be themselves, you also give yourself the power to decide whether their presence is healthy for your life. Sometimes the most peaceful thing you can do is step back and let people reveal themselves. If they care, their actions will show it. If they do not, their actions will show that too. You do not need to chase clarity forever. You do not need to keep asking why someone changed. You only need to accept what their behavior is teaching you. This is not weakness. This is wisdom. This is the moment you stop living in fantasy and start protecting your peace. You can love someone and still walk away from the pain they bring. You can forgive someone and still choose distance. You can wish them well and still understand that they are not meant to walk with you anymore. Buddhism reminds us that everything is changing, and not every person who enters your life is meant to stay forever. Some people teach you love, some teach you patience, some teach you self-respect, and some teach you how to let go. So let people be who they are. Do not fight their nature. Do not keep waiting for them to become the person your heart needed. See them clearly, accept the truth, and choose your peace without guilt. When you stop trying to change others, you finally begin to return to yourself. 4. Stop carrying old pain. Pain becomes heavier when you carry it every single day. At first, something hurts you, and that pain feels natural because your heart needs time to understand what happened. But when you keep replaying the same memories, repeating the same questions, and living inside the same sadness, the pain slowly becomes a part of your daily life. You wake up with it, you sleep with it. You take it into your conversations, your silence, your thoughts, and even your dreams. What happened may have ended, but inside your mind, it keeps happening again and again. Sometimes you are not only hurt by what someone did to you, you are hurt because you keep returning to the moment where it happened. You remember their words, their silence, their betrayal, their distance, or the way they changed. You keep asking yourself, why did they do this to me? Was I not enough? How could they forget me so easily? But these questions often do not heal you. They only pull you deeper into the same wound. Buddhism teaches that suffering grows when the mind clings to what has already passed. The event may be over, but attachment to that event keeps your heart trapped. You must understand that your pain is real, but it is not your identity. You are not your heartbreak. You are not your loss. You are not the rejection you faced. You are not the person who left you, used you, ignored you, or failed to value your heart. These things happen to you, but they are not the whole truth of who you are. You are still a living soul. You still have peace inside you. You still have a future that can become lighter than your past. Buddhism teaches that everything is temporary. Joy changes, sadness changes, people change, relationships change, and even the pain you feel today can change. But for pain to change, you must stop feeding it. Every time you replay the same painful memory, you give it new strength. Every time you check on someone who hurt you, you reopen the wound. Every time you remind yourself of what you lost, you make your heart feel the loss again. Healing does not mean you forget everything in one day. Healing means you slowly stop giving your old pain control over your present life. Old pain often stays because it feels familiar. Sometimes people hold on to sadness because they do not know who they are without it. The pain becomes a place they return to when life feels empty. But just because something is familiar does not mean it is healthy. A prison can feel familiar if you stay there long enough, but it is still a prison. Your heart was not created to live forever inside old memories. Your soul was not created to carry the same burden until the end of your life. You are allowed to put it down. To stop carrying old pain, you must begin with honesty. Admit that something hurt you. Admit that you were disappointed. Admit that you expected love, care, respect, or loyalty, but you did not receive it. Do not pretend you are fine if you are not fine, but after you admit the pain, do not build your whole life around it. Feel it, understand it, learn from it, and then slowly release it. Pain should teach you wisdom, not steal your entire life. There will be moments when the memory comes back. A song, a place, a message, or a small reminder may bring the pain to the surface again. In those moments, do not punish yourself. Do not think you are weak because you still feel something. Healing is not a straight road. Some days you feel strong, and some days the old wound speaks again. But each time it comes back, remind yourself gently, this memory is from my past. It is not my whole life. I can feel it without becoming it. You do not need to carry pain to prove that it mattered. You do not need to stay broken to prove that you loved deeply. You do not need to keep hurting yourself to prove that someone hurt you. Your healing is not a betrayal of your past. Your healing is a sign that your soul is ready to live again. Let the pain become a lesson, not a chain. Let the wound become wisdom, not a home. So take a deep breath and give yourself permission to release what has been heavy for too long. You may not be able to drop all the pain in one moment, but you can stop choosing it every day. You can stop replaying the same story. You can stop returning to the same sadness. You can stop carrying what your soul is begging you to put down. Honor what you survived, but do not live there forever. Your heart deserves peace, and your life deserves to feel light again. 5. Choose peace over attachment. Sometimes your heart still wants what your soul already knows is not good for you. This is one of the hardest parts of healing. You may know that someone hurt you, disappointed you, ignored your feelings, or made you feel small, but still your heart misses them. You may remember the beautiful moments, the sweet words, the good memories, and the version of them that once made you feel safe. Because of this, you may feel confused. One part of you wants to move forward, but another part of you wants to go back. This is where Buddhism teaches us to look deeply at attachment. Attachment is not always love. Sometimes attachment is fear. Fear of being alone. Fear of starting again. Fear of losing the person completely. Fear that no one else will understand you. Fear that life will feel empty without them. So you hold on, not because the connection is peaceful, but because letting go feels painful. But you must remember, just because something hurts to release does not mean it is meant to stay. Attachment makes you chase what is already hurting you. It makes you wait for messages, search for signs, overthink small changes, and keep hoping that one day everything will become like before. It makes you accept less than you deserve because you are afraid of losing the little that is left. Slowly, attachment takes away your self-respect. It makes you forget your own needs, your own peace, and your own worth. You begin to ask, why are they not choosing me? But the deeper question is, why am I still choosing pain? Peace is different. Peace does not beg. Peace does not chase. Peace does not force someone to love you, respect you, or understand you. Peace allows you to see the truth without lying to yourself. It helps you understand that missing someone does not always mean you should return to them. Loving someone does not mean you should allow them to keep hurting you. Caring for someone does not mean you must lose yourself to prove your love. Buddhism teaches that everything we cling to can become a source of suffering when we believe we cannot live without it. When your happiness depends on one person, your mind becomes afraid. When your peace depends on their reply, their mood, or their attention, you become emotionally trapped. This is why choosing peace over attachment is so powerful. It means you are taking your heart back from the hands of someone who does not know how to hold it gently. Choosing peace does not mean your feelings disappear in one day. You may still miss them. You may still think about them. You may still remember the good times and feel a little sadness in your chest. That is normal. Healing does not mean you become cold or emotionless. Healing means you feel the emotion, but you do not let it control your actions. You can miss someone and still not call them. You can love someone and still keep distance. You can remember someone and still choose not to return to the same pain. At first, peace may feel strange. If you have lived in emotional chaos for a long time, calmness can feel empty. When you are used to overthinking, waiting, explaining, and fighting for attention, silence may feel uncomfortable. But that silence is not loneliness. That silence is your heart finally getting space to breathe. That calmness is not emptiness. It is your soul slowly becoming safe again. Do not run back to chaos just because peace feels unfamiliar. There will be moments when attachment tries to pull you backward. A memory may come. A message may appear. A lonely night may make you want to return. In those moments, pause and ask yourself, am I choosing this because it brings peace, or because I am afraid to let go? This one question can save you from repeating the same pain. If something only gives you temporary comfort but long-term suffering, it is not peace. It is attachment wearing the mask of love. You deserve a life where your heart does not feel heavy all the time. You deserve relationships where you do not have to beg for basic respect. You deserve love that feels safe, not love that keeps you anxious. You deserve peace that stays, not moments of happiness followed by days of confusion. When you choose peace over attachment, you are not losing love. You are losing the suffering that came with unhealthy love. So choose peace, even when attachment whispers old memories into your heart. Choose peace, even when your emotions tell you to go back. Choose peace, even when it feels lonely for a while. Every time you refuse to chase what hurts you, you become stronger. Every time you protect your heart, you become wiser. Every time you choose calm over chaos, you become emotionally free. Let attachment fall away slowly. Let your heart learn that it can survive without what it once thought it needed. Let your soul understand that peace is not found in holding tighter, but in releasing with wisdom. What is meant for you will not destroy your peace. What is healthy for you will not make you lose yourself. And what truly belongs in your life will never require you to abandon your own heart. 6. Be kind to yourself while you heal. One of the most important parts of healing is learning how to be kind to yourself. Many people think healing means becoming strong, silent, and untouched by pain. They think healing means forgetting everything quickly, smiling again, and acting like nothing happened. But real healing is not about pretending you are fine. Real healing is about sitting with your pain gently and saying, I am hurt, but I will not hate myself for feeling this. It is about understanding that your heart has been through something heavy and now it needs patience, not punishment. Sometimes after being hurt, you become very hard on yourself. You start blaming yourself for trusting the wrong person. You ask yourself why you did not see the truth earlier. You wonder why you stayed so long, why you cared so much, why you gave so many chances, and why you allowed someone to affect your peace. Your mind may tell you that you were foolish, weak, blind, or too emotional. But Buddhism teaches that suffering does not end through self-hate. Suffering begins to soften when you meet yourself with compassion. You must understand this clearly. You did not love deeply because you were weak. You loved deeply because your heart was open. You trusted because you wanted to believe in goodness. You stayed because you had hope. You gave chances because you saw something in that person or situation that mattered to you. Maybe now you can see things more clearly, but at that time you were doing the best you could with the understanding you had. Do not punish your past self for not having the wisdom your present self has now. Healing becomes very difficult when you keep becoming your own enemy. The world may have already been unkind to you. Someone may have ignored your feelings, rejected your love, betrayed your trust, or made you feel like you were not enough. But if you also begin to speak to yourself with cruelty, then your heart has no safe place left. This is why self-compassion is so important. You must become the gentle place your soul can return to. Buddhism teaches compassion for all living beings, but many people forget that they are also included in that compassion. You may be kind to others, forgive others, understand others, and give patience to others, but when it comes to yourself, you become harsh. You forgive someone for hurting you, but you cannot forgive yourself for trusting them. You understand why others make mistakes, but you attack yourself for every small mistake you made. This is not balance. This is not wisdom. True compassion must also reach your own heart. Be kind to yourself while you heal, because healing is not a straight road. Some days you will feel strong, clear, and peaceful. You will feel like you finally understand what happened, and you will believe you are ready to move forward. But then another day, a memory may come back. A song, a place, a photo, a message, or even a quiet night may bring the pain back into your chest. In that moment, you may think, why am I still feeling this? Why am I not over it yet? But healing does not happen according to your mind's deadline. Healing happens slowly, deeply, and sometimes quietly. Do not shame yourself for having emotional days. Do not think you are weak because you still remember. Do not believe you have failed just because sadness visits you again. Sadness coming back does not mean you are back at the beginning. It means there is another layer of pain asking to be understood and released. Sometimes healing is not one big moment of freedom. Sometimes healing is many small moments where you choose not to give up on yourself. When you are healing, speak to yourself like you would speak to someone you truly love. If your best friend came to you with a broken heart, would you call them stupid? Would you tell them they deserved the pain? Would you mock them for trusting someone? No, you would sit with them. You would remind them that they are human. You would tell them that they are allowed to feel hurt. You would say, take your time. I am here. You will be okay. Now give that same kindness to yourself. Your inner voice matters. The way you speak to yourself becomes the space where your heart either heals or hurts more. If you keep saying, I am broken, I am foolish, I always choose wrong, nobody will love me, I ruined everything, then your mind begins to believe those words. But if you gently say, I am learning, I am healing, I made mistakes, but I am not a mistake, then your heart begins to feel safe again. Your words can become medicine, or they can become another wound. Buddhism teaches us to observe thoughts without becoming them. This means when a painful thought comes, you do not have to accept it as truth. If your mind says, you were not enough, pause and look at that thought. Ask yourself, is this the truth, or is this pain speaking? Many thoughts are not wisdom. Many thoughts are only old wounds repeating themselves. You do not have to obey every thought that appears in your mind. You can notice it, breathe, and let it pass. Be kind to yourself, because you are carrying more than people can see. On the outside, you may look normal. You may work, smile, speak, help others, and continue your daily life. But inside, you may be fighting memories, regrets, loneliness, and silent questions. Not everyone will understand the weight you are carrying, and not everyone will know how much strength it takes just to keep going. So do not wait for the world to recognize your pain before you show yourself compassion. You know what you have survived. That is enough reason to be gentle with yourself. Sometimes healing requires you to stop expecting closure from others and start giving peace to yourself. You may never receive the apology you deserve. You may never hear the truth. You may never understand why someone changed, why they left, or why they treated you the way they did. But if your healing depends on their apology, then your peace remains in their hands. Be kind to yourself by taking your peace back. Tell yourself, even without their apology, I can heal. Even without their explanation, I can move forward. Even without their regret, I can become free. Self-kindness also means allowing yourself to rest. Many people try to heal by staying busy all the time. They fill every hour with noise, work, scrolling, people, and distractions because they are afraid of facing the pain inside. But the heart cannot heal if it is always being ignored. At the same time, healing does not mean you must think about pain all day. You need balance. You need moments to feel, moments to rest, moments to breathe, and moments to live again. Give yourself permission to have quiet days. Give yourself permission to say no. Give yourself permission to step away from things that drain you. Give yourself permission to protect your energy without explaining everything to everyone. When you are healing, your soul needs space. It needs peace. It needs soft places. It needs time away from people and situations that keep reopening the wound. Be kind to yourself by stopping the habit of comparing your healing to others. Some people seem to move on quickly. Some people look strong on the outside. Some people act like nothing hurts them. But you do not know what they carry inside. Everyone heals differently. Your journey is your own. Just because someone else looks fine does not mean you are behind. Just because you still feel deeply does not mean you are weak. It only means your heart is processing something meaningful. You must also understand that healing is not about becoming the same person you were before the pain. Sometimes pain changes you. It opens your eyes. It teaches you boundaries. It shows you the difference between love and attachment. It teaches you not to ignore red flags. It teaches you to listen to your body when something feels wrong. It teaches you that peace is more valuable than attention. So do not rush to become your old self again. Maybe your old self did not know what your new self is finally learning. Be patient with the new version of you. Maybe you are more careful now. Maybe you do not trust as quickly. Maybe you need more silence. Maybe you are learning to choose yourself for the first time. This is not failure. This is growth. You are not becoming cold. You are becoming wiser. You are not losing your softness. You are learning where your softness is safe. You are not closing your heart forever. You are learning to protect it with awareness. Buddhism teaches the middle path. This means you do not need to hate the world because someone hurt you, and you do not need to keep giving yourself away to prove you are loving. You can be kind and still have boundaries. You can forgive and still keep distance. You can love and still choose peace. You can have a soft heart and a strong mind at the same time. This is emotional maturity. This is deep healing. Being kind to yourself also means forgiving yourself. Forgive yourself for the times you ignored your intuition. Forgive yourself for the messages you sent when you were desperate for understanding. Forgive yourself for the nights you cried over someone who was not thinking about your pain. Forgive yourself for staying when you should have walked away. Forgive yourself for giving too much to people who gave too little. You were learning. You were human. You were trying to love, survive, and understand life with the heart you had at that time. Forgiveness does not mean you approve of every choice you made. It means you stop using your past choices as a weapon against yourself. You can learn from what happened without hating yourself for it. You can say, I would choose differently now, without saying, I am stupid for what I chose before. Growth should give you wisdom, not endless shame. There is a gentle strength in saying, I did not know then, but I know now. This sentence can free you from so much guilt. You did not know how much that person would hurt you. You did not know that their words would not match their actions. You did not know that your kindness would be taken for granted. You did not know that the connection would become heavy. But now you know, and now that you know, you can choose differently. That is not weakness. That is awakening. Be kind to yourself by creating a life that supports your healing. This does not have to be something big. Start with small things. Sleep better. Drink water. Take a walk. Clean your space. Stop checking things that hurt you. Remove reminders that keep reopening the wound. Spend time with people who make your nervous system feel calm. Listen to words that strengthen your soul. Pray, meditate, breathe, write, or sit quietly with your own heart. Small acts of care tell your mind, I matter. When you begin treating yourself with care, your heart slowly learns that it is safe again. You may not feel completely healed right away, but you will begin to feel small moments of peace. You will notice that you can breathe a little easier. You will notice that you think about the past a little less. You will notice that your mind becomes quieter. Healing often begins in small, almost invisible ways. Do not ignore those small signs. They are proof that your soul is returning to itself. You also need to stop seeking punishment for being human. Many people believe they must suffer for a long time before they are allowed to be happy again. They feel guilty when they laugh. They feel guilty when they enjoy something. They feel guilty when they begin moving forward. But your happiness does not disrespect your pain. Your peace does not mean the past did not matter. Your smile does not mean you forgot everything. It simply means your soul is learning to live beyond the wound. Allow yourself to feel joy again without guilt. Allow yourself to laugh. Allow yourself to dream. Allow yourself to feel hope. Allow yourself to become excited about life again. Pain may have been a chapter in your life, but it does not have to become the whole book. You are allowed to turn the page when your heart is ready. Be kind to yourself when you make mistakes during healing. Maybe you will check their profile again. Maybe you will cry after thinking you were done crying. Maybe you will miss someone you know you should not return to. Maybe you will have a weak moment. Do not turn one weak moment into a reason to give up on yourself. Healing is not perfection. Healing is returning to yourself again and again, even after you fall into old feelings. Each time you return to peace, you become stronger. Each time you choose not to punish yourself, you become softer in the right way. Each time you forgive yourself, you remove one more chain from your heart. This is how emotional freedom is built, not through force, not through self-hate, not through rushing, but through patience, awareness, and compassion. Remember, the Buddha's path is not a path of violence against the self. It is a path of understanding. It teaches us to see suffering clearly, to understand its roots, and to release it with wisdom. If the root of your suffering is attachment, observe it. If the root is fear, comfort it. If the root is shame, soften it. If the root is grief, allow it to move through you. Do not fight yourself. Learn yourself. Your heart is not your enemy. Your emotions are not your enemy. Your memories are not your enemy. They are messages. They are signs that something inside you needs care. When pain rises, instead of saying, "Why am I like this?" try saying, "What does my heart need right now?" This small change can transform your healing. It moves you from self-judgment to self-understanding. Maybe your heart needs rest. Maybe it needs truth. Maybe it needs distance. Maybe it needs to cry. Maybe it needs to stop pretending. Maybe it needs to accept that someone was not right for your life. Maybe it needs to remember its own worth. Whatever it needs, listen gently. You cannot heal deeply while ignoring yourself. And finally, be kind to yourself, because you are still here. After everything that hurt you, you are still breathing. After all the confusion, you are still trying. After the nights you felt broken, you still woke up. After the people who disappointed you, you still have a heart that wants peace. That is strength. Quiet strength. Real strength. The kind of strength that does not need to shout. So place your hand on your heart and remind yourself, I am allowed to heal slowly. I am allowed to feel deeply. I am allowed to forgive myself. I am allowed to begin again. Let these words become a soft home inside you. Let them remind you that you do not need to be perfect to deserve peace. You do not need to be fully healed to be worthy of love. You do not need to have all the answers to take the next step. Be kind to yourself while you heal. Stop attacking the heart that is trying to recover. Stop punishing the soul that has already suffered enough. Give yourself the patience you wanted from others. Give yourself the understanding you kept waiting for. Give yourself the compassion you freely gave to people who did not know how to return it. Your healing will become deeper when your own heart no longer fears your own voice. Your peace will become stronger when you stop making yourself wrong for being human. And your freedom will begin when you finally understand that you were never meant to carry pain and self-hate together. Let the pain teach you, but let kindness heal you. Let the past open your eyes, but let compassion open your heart. You are healing, and that healing deserves gentleness. 7. Return to yourself. The deepest form of emotional freedom begins when you finally return to yourself. For a long time, your mind may have been living outside your own life. Your peace was in someone else's hands. Your happiness depended on someone's reply, someone's attention, someone's mood, or someone's love. Your heart kept waiting for another person to understand you, choose you, apologize to you, or come back and give you the comfort you needed. But slowly, while waiting for others, you may have forgotten yourself. This is what pain does when we are not aware. It pulls our energy away from the present moment and places it in the past, in another person, or in a future that may never happen. You keep thinking about what they said, why they changed, why they left, why they stopped caring, or why life did not happen the way you hoped. Your body is here, but your mind is somewhere else. Your life is happening now, but your heart is still sitting in an old memory, waiting for something to become different. Buddhism teaches that suffering grows when the mind lives away from the present moment. The present moment is where your breath is. It is where your body is. It is where healing can actually happen. But when your mind keeps traveling back to old pain, it becomes impossible to feel peace. You cannot heal deeply if your heart keeps living in the place where it was wounded. This is why returning to yourself is so important. It means you gently bring your attention back from what hurt you and place it back into your own life. Returning to yourself does not mean you stop loving people. It does not mean you become selfish, cold, or disconnected. It means you stop abandoning your own heart just to keep holding on to someone else. It means you stop making another person the center of your emotional world. It means you stop measuring your worth through how they treat you. You begin to understand that your life is still valuable, even if someone did not value you properly. Many people lose themselves in attachment. They become so focused on keeping someone close that they forget their own needs, their own peace, their own dreams, and their own inner voice. They keep asking, do they still care about me? But they forget to ask, am I still caring for myself? They keep asking, will they come back? But they forget to ask, when will I come back to myself? They keep asking, why did they leave me? But they forget the deeper question, why did I leave myself while trying to keep them? This lesson is not about blaming yourself. It is about waking up with compassion. Sometimes you left yourself because you were hurt. Sometimes you left yourself because you were afraid of being alone. Sometimes you gave too much because you thought love meant losing yourself for another person. But now you are learning that real love does not ask you to disappear. Real love does not make you beg for peace. Real love does not pull you away from your own soul. To return to yourself, you must first pause. Stop running after every thought. Stop reacting to every emotion. Stop giving all your attention to the person or situation that hurt you. Take one deep breath and notice that you are still here. Your breath is still moving, your heart is still beating, your life is still waiting. This one moment may look simple, but it is powerful. Every time you return to your breath, you return to the present. Every time you return to the present, you take one step away from old suffering. Your breath is a doorway back to yourself. When the mind becomes full of memories, breathe. When attachment tries to pull you backward, breathe. When sadness comes at night, breathe. When you feel the urge to chase, explain, or check on someone who disturbed your peace, breathe first. Breathing does not solve everything in one moment, but it gives you space. It reminds you that you do not have to obey every feeling immediately. You can feel something and still choose wisely. Buddhism teaches awareness. Awareness means you see what is happening inside you without becoming controlled by it. If loneliness comes, you notice it. If sadness comes, you notice it. If anger comes, you notice it. If a memory comes, you notice it. You do not need to hate these feelings. You do not need to push them away with force. You simply see them and say, this is a feeling. It is passing through me. It is not the whole of me. This understanding is powerful because it helps you remember that you are bigger than your emotions. You are not just the pain you feel today. You are not just the memory that hurts you. You are not just the person who was left, rejected, disappointed, or misunderstood. You are a full human being with a soul, a future, a purpose, and the ability to heal. Pain may have visited your life, but pain is not your identity. Someone may have broken your trust, but that does not mean your whole life is broken. Someone may have left, but that does not mean your worth has left with them. Returning to yourself means you stop letting one chapter define your whole story. Maybe you were hurt, maybe you were used, maybe you loved someone who did not know how to love you back. Maybe you gave your best and still lost something important. But that is not the end of you. That is only one part of your journey. A painful part, yes, but not the final truth of your life. The lotus grows from the mud, but it does not become the mud. In the same way, you can grow from pain without becoming pain. You can rise from heartbreak without becoming bitter. You can learn from disappointment without losing your softness. You can remember what happened without carrying hatred in your heart. This is emotional freedom. Not that you forget everything, but that you no longer allow everything to control you. When you return to yourself, you begin to listen to your own needs again. You ask, what does my heart need to feel safe? Maybe it needs distance from someone. Maybe it needs silence. Maybe it needs rest. Maybe it needs to stop checking old messages. Maybe it needs to stop explaining itself to people who do not listen. Maybe it needs to spend time with peaceful people. Maybe it needs prayer, meditation, walking, writing, or simply one quiet evening without emotional noise. Your soul often knows what it needs, but pain makes the mind too loud to hear it. That is why silence is important. In silence, you begin to hear yourself again. You begin to notice what drains you, what heals you, what brings peace, and what keeps you stuck. You begin to understand that not every person deserves access to your heart. Not every memory deserves your energy. Not every feeling deserves your action. Some things only need to be noticed, accepted, and released. Returning to yourself also means rebuilding your relationship with your own life. When you are attached to someone, your whole world can become smaller. Your day becomes about whether they replied, whether they cared, whether they noticed you, or whether they are thinking about you. But your life is bigger than one person. Your life has dreams, habits, health, peace, purpose, creativity, growth, and quiet moments that belong only to you. Do not let one painful connection make you forget the entire life that is still yours. Start coming back in small ways. Wake up and take care of your body. Eat with awareness. Walk slowly and feel your feet on the ground. Clean your space. Sit in sunlight. Read words that bring wisdom. Pray or meditate for a few minutes. Write what you feel without judging yourself. Spend time with people who make your heart feel calm. These small actions may not look powerful from the outside, but they are powerful because they tell your soul, I am here for you now. For a long time, you may have waited for someone else to save you from your pain. You may have thought that if they returned, if they apologized, if they loved you properly, then you would finally feel okay. But Buddhism teaches that peace cannot depend completely on outside conditions. Outside life is always changing. People change, situations change, relationships change. The only true peace is the peace you build within yourself. This does not mean you will never need love, connection, or support. Human beings need each other. But there is a difference between receiving love and depending on someone to complete your whole existence. There is a difference between enjoying connection and losing yourself inside attachment. When you return to yourself, you can love others from a healthier place. You no longer love from fear. You no longer hold people from desperation. You no longer chase because you feel empty. You love with awareness, and if someone leaves, you may feel pain, but you do not lose your entire self. This is the kind of freedom Buddhism points toward. Freedom from clinging. Freedom from emotional control. Freedom from the belief that your peace must wait for life to become perfect. Emotional freedom does not mean nothing hurts you anymore. It means you no longer let pain rule your whole life. It means you feel sadness without drowning in it. You feel love without becoming a prisoner of it. You experience loss without forgetting your own worth. To return to yourself, you must also release the need to prove your pain to others. Sometimes after being hurt, you want someone to understand how deeply they wounded you. You want them to feel your sadness. You want them to see your tears, your sleepless nights, your silent suffering. But some people will never understand the damage they caused. Some people will never see your heart clearly, and if you keep waiting for them to understand, you keep giving them power over your healing. You do not need their understanding to begin healing. You do not need their apology to choose peace. You do not need their regret to become free. Yes, it would be beautiful if they understood. Yes, it would feel comforting if they came back with honesty and kindness. But your soul cannot wait forever at the door of someone else's awareness. At some point, you must say, even if they never understand me, I will understand myself. Even if they never apologize, I will stop hurting myself. Even if they never return, I will return to me. This is a powerful moment. The moment you stop waiting for someone else to give you permission to heal. The moment you stop asking the past to release you and begin releasing yourself. The moment you realize that your peace is not something someone else must hand back to you. It is something you can slowly rebuild inside your own heart. Returning to yourself also means forgiving yourself for the times you forgot your worth. Forgive yourself for chasing. Forgive yourself for over-explaining. Forgive yourself for staying too long. Forgive yourself for trusting someone who did not protect your trust. Forgive yourself for giving your heart to people who did not know how to hold it. You were not stupid. You were human. You were learning. You were trying to love with the understanding you had at that time. Now you are growing. Now you are seeing more clearly. Now you are learning that peace matters. You are learning that love without respect becomes suffering. You are learning that attachment without wisdom becomes a chain. You are learning that your heart is precious, and not everyone deserves to live inside it. The person you are becoming will not be born from anger. They will be born from awareness. You do not need to become bitter to become strong. You do not need to close your heart to become wise. You do not need to hate people to leave them behind. You can walk away peacefully. You can let go without revenge. You can accept the truth without becoming hard. This is deep healing. This is strength with softness. This is peace with self-respect. When you return to yourself, you begin to understand that being alone is not always loneliness. Sometimes being alone is the space where you finally hear your own heart again. Sometimes being alone is where you stop performing, stop pretending, stop chasing, and stop trying to be enough for people who were never satisfied. In that quiet space, you meet yourself again. You realize you are not empty. You were only exhausted from giving too much of yourself away. Use solitude as a place of healing, not a place of punishment. Sit with yourself kindly. Do not fill every quiet moment with distraction. Let your heart speak. Let your emotions move. Let your mind rest. Let your body feel safe. Slowly, you will discover that your own presence is not something to fear. Your own presence can become peaceful. Your own presence can become home. There will still be days when the past tries to call you back. Healing does not mean memories disappear forever. It means they lose their power over your choices. A memory may come, but you do not have to follow it. A feeling may rise, but you do not have to act from it. A person may return, but you do not have to open the same door again. You can pause, breathe, and ask, does this bring peace, or does this bring me back to suffering? This question can protect your life. Not every familiar thing is healthy. Not every old connection deserves a new chance. Not every apology means change. Not every feeling is a sign to return. Sometimes a feeling is only a wave passing through your heart. Let it pass. You do not need to build your life around every wave. Returning to yourself means choosing your peace again and again. It means choosing not to check the thing that hurts you, choosing not to reply from pain, choosing not to beg for attention, choosing not to explain your worth to someone who has already shown you they do not value it, choosing not to sacrifice your sleep, your health, and your dignity for someone who brings confusion into your life. These choices may feel small, but they are powerful. Every small choice becomes a step back to yourself. Every time you choose peace, your soul trusts you more. Every time you protect your heart, your inner strength grows. Every time you do not return to old pain, you prove to yourself that you are changing. And as you return to yourself, you begin to feel lighter. Not because life becomes perfect, but because you stop carrying what was not yours to carry. You stop carrying other people's choices. You stop carrying their emotional absence. You stop carrying the blame for things you could not control. You stop carrying the hope that someone will become different just because you love them deeply. You begin to understand that letting go is not losing. Letting go is making space. Space for peace, space for wisdom, space for self-respect, space for healthier love, space for your own life to breathe again. When your hands are full of what hurts you, you cannot receive what heals you. When your heart is full of old pain, it becomes hard to welcome new peace. Letting go creates space for the life that is trying to meet you. So come back to yourself. Come back from the past. Come back from the person who confused your heart. Come back from the memory that keeps hurting you. Come back from the future you kept imagining with someone who could not meet you with the same love. Come back to this breath. Come back to this moment. Come back to the truth that you are still here, and because you are still here, healing is still possible. Your life is not over because someone left. Your worth is not gone because someone failed to see it. Your heart is not ruined because someone did not know how to love it. You are still whole, even if you feel wounded. You are still worthy, even if someone made you feel replaceable. You are still capable of peace, even if your mind has been noisy for a long time. Let life be. This means stop fighting every change as if change is your enemy. Sometimes life removes what your heart is not ready to release. Sometimes life closes doors because your soul needs a different path. Sometimes life becomes quiet because you need to hear yourself again. Trust the wisdom of change, even when it hurts. Let people go. This means stop holding people with fear. Stop forcing them to stay. Stop begging them to become what they are not ready to become. Stop giving your whole life to someone who only gives you confusion. Let them walk their path, and you walk yours. If they are meant to meet you with peace, they will. If not, release them with dignity. Let yourself heal. This means stop rushing your heart. Stop pretending you are okay when you need time. Stop judging yourself for feeling deeply. Stop carrying shame for loving someone. Give yourself patience. Give yourself silence. Give yourself truth. Give yourself the kindness you kept looking for in others. Emotional freedom is not found in controlling life. It is found in surrendering to what is true. It is found in accepting what happened without letting it destroy you. It is found in loving without clinging, remembering without drowning, and walking away without hatred. It is found when you stop waiting for the outside world to give you peace and begin building peace within yourself. You are allowed to begin again, not because the past did not matter, but because your future matters too. You are allowed to become someone new, not someone hard and bitter, but someone wiser, calmer, and more rooted in peace. You are allowed to smile again without guilt. You are allowed to dream again without fear. You are allowed to open your heart again, but this time with awareness. The pain you went through can become wisdom. The loss you experienced can become strength. The ending that broke you can become the doorway back to yourself. But only if you stop living inside it. Only if you stop feeding it. Only if you decide that your soul deserves more than old suffering. So take a deep breath. Feel your heart. Feel your life. Feel this moment. You do not need to have everything solved today. You do not need to be fully healed right now. You only need to take one honest step back toward yourself. Return to your breath. Return to your peace. Return to your own heart. The more you come back to yourself, the less power the past will have over you. The more you choose yourself with compassion, the more emotionally free you become. And one day, you will look back at what once hurt you and realize it no longer controls your life. You will remember the pain, but you will not live inside it. You will remember the person, but you will not lose yourself again. You will remember the ending, but you will also see the beginning it created. That is healing. That is freedom. That is the quiet power of returning to yourself. Let life be. Let people go. Let yourself heal. And slowly, with every breath, come home to your own soul. 8. Trust the healing process and let time do its work. One of the hardest parts of healing is learning to trust time. When your heart is hurt, you want the pain to disappear quickly. You want to wake up one morning and feel completely free. You want the memories to stop coming back. You want the heavy feeling in your chest to leave. You want your mind to become quiet again. But deep healing does not always happen in one moment. Sometimes healing is slow. Sometimes it moves silently. Sometimes it works inside you even when you cannot see the result yet. Buddhism teaches that everything changes with time. Nothing stays the same forever. The pain you feel today will not always feel this strong. The memory that breaks your heart today will not always have the same power over you. The person you cannot stop thinking about today will not always control your peace, but you must allow time to do its work. You must stop rushing your heart as if healing is a race. A wound does not close faster because you shout at it. A flower does not bloom faster because you pull its petals open. In the same way, your soul cannot heal deeply if you keep forcing yourself to be okay before you are ready. Sometimes you may feel frustrated with yourself because you think you should be healed by now. You may say, "Why am I still sad? Why do I still miss them? Why does this still hurt me?" But healing is not about forgetting everything immediately. Healing is about slowly changing your relationship with the pain. At first, the pain controls you. Then slowly, you begin to observe it. Then one day, you feel it, but it no longer controls your choices. This is progress. Even if it feels small, it is still progress. You must understand that your heart needs time to accept what your mind already knows. Your mind may know that someone was not good for you. Your mind may know that a chapter has ended. Your mind may know that you need to move forward. But the heart moves differently. The heart remembers moments, feelings, hopes, and dreams. The heart does not release everything just because the mind understands the truth. This is why you must be patient with yourself. Do not call yourself weak because your heart needs time. Do not punish yourself because your emotions are moving slowly. You are human, and humans heal in layers. Healing is like watching the sun rise. At first, the sky is dark, and nothing seems to be changing. But slowly, a little light appears. Then more light comes. Then the darkness begins to fade. It does not happen all at once, but it happens. In the same way, your healing may begin quietly. You may not notice it at first. One day, you may realize that you did not think about the past as much. One day, you may hear their name and feel less pain. One day, you may visit an old place and not feel broken. One day, you may smile without forcing it. These small moments are signs that your heart is healing. Do not ignore small progress. Many people wait for a big moment where they suddenly feel completely free, but healing often comes in small pieces. It comes when you choose not to send a message you would regret. It comes when you sleep a little better. It comes when you stop checking what hurts you. It comes when you finally eat properly again. It comes when you laugh for a few seconds and realize your heart is still alive. It comes when you sit alone and feel calm instead of empty. These small signs matter. They show that peace is slowly returning to your life. Buddhism teaches us to live with awareness. Awareness means you do not rush through your pain, and you do not drown in it either. You simply notice what is happening inside you. If sadness comes, you notice sadness. If anger comes, you notice anger. If loneliness comes, you notice loneliness. You do not have to fight every emotion. You do not have to judge every feeling. You can simply say, "This is what I am feeling right now, and this feeling will pass." This is a powerful practice because it reminds you that emotions are not permanent. They rise, they stay for a while, and they pass away. When you trust the healing process, you stop forcing yourself to feel different. You stop pretending you are fine just to look strong. You stop hiding your pain from yourself. You allow your heart to be honest. You say, "Yes, this hurts. Yes, I am healing. Yes, I need time." There is no shame in needing time. There is no shame in feeling deeply. There is no shame in moving slowly. Some wounds are deep because the love was deep. Some pain takes time because the attachment was strong. Be gentle with the part of you that is still learning how to let go. But trusting the healing process does not mean you sit in pain forever. It does not mean you keep repeating old patterns. It does not mean you keep returning to what broke you. It means you give yourself time while also making choices that support your peace. Time helps, but your choices matter too. If you keep opening the same wound, time cannot heal it properly. If you keep checking their life, reading old messages, replaying old memories, and waiting for them to return, your healing becomes slower. Time can help you heal, but you must stop feeding the pain. This is why healing requires both patience and discipline. Patience says, "I will not rush my heart." Discipline says, "I will not keep hurting my heart." Patience allows you to feel. Discipline protects you from returning to old suffering. You need both. You need softness and strength. You need compassion and boundaries. You need time, but you also need wisdom. A person who truly wants to heal must learn to protect their environment. If something keeps bringing you back to the pain, you may need distance from it. If certain conversations reopen the wound, step away from them. If certain places, photos, messages, or social media updates keep disturbing your peace, give yourself permission to remove them from your daily life. This does not mean you are weak. It means you are serious about healing. You cannot keep drinking poison and wonder why your heart still hurts. Sometimes people think letting time pass is enough, but time alone does not heal everything. Time only gives you space. What you do in that space matters. If you use time to grow, reflect, rest, understand, and rebuild yourself, then time becomes medicine. But if you use time to keep waiting, stalking, regretting, and repeating the same pain, then time only becomes a longer form of suffering. So trust time, but also work with time. Let each day become a small step toward peace. You do not have to make a dramatic change in one day. Healing can begin with small choices. Today, choose not to speak harshly to yourself. Today, choose not to chase someone who makes you feel unwanted. Today, choose to breathe before reacting. Today, choose to rest when your heart feels tired. Today, choose one thing that brings your mind back to peace. Small choices repeated every day become a new life. Buddhism reminds us that life is impermanent. This truth can feel painful when we lose people, relationships, or dreams, but it can also comfort us. Because if everything changes, then your pain can change too. Your loneliness can change. Your confusion can change. Your heavy heart can change. Nothing inside you is fixed forever. You are not trapped in this version of yourself. You are not destined to feel this way for the rest of your life. Just as the seasons change, your inner world can change too. There may be days when you feel like you are going backward. You may think you are healing, and then suddenly a memory breaks you again. You may feel strong for a week, and then one night you cry like it just happened. Do not panic when this happens. Healing is not always a straight line. Sometimes the heart returns to old pain because there is something deeper to release. Sometimes the mind revisits a wound, not to punish you, but to show you what still needs care. Do not call this failure. call it another layer of healing. When those heavy days come, do not make big decisions from pain. Do not run back to someone because you feel lonely for one night. Do not send messages from a broken moment. Do not decide your whole future based on one sad feeling. Instead, pause. Breathe. Let the wave pass. Remind yourself, this feeling is strong, but it is temporary. Many people return to old pain because they cannot sit with temporary discomfort. But if you can sit with the wave without obeying it, you become stronger than the attachment. The mind often lies when it is hurting. It says, you will never be happy again. It says, you lost everything. It says, no one will love you like that again. It says, go back. Maybe this time it will be different. But pain speaks from fear, not wisdom. Do not believe every sentence your wounded mind creates. In Buddhism, you are taught to observe your thoughts, not become their servant. A thought can appear without being the truth. A feeling can rise without being a command. You can notice both and still choose peace. Trusting the healing process means trusting that your future can be different from your past. Just because someone hurt you does not mean everyone will hurt you. Just because one chapter ended does not mean your life has ended. Just because you feel lost today does not mean you will never find yourself again. Pain can close your heart if you let it become bitterness, but pain can also open your eyes if you let it become wisdom. This is where your healing becomes powerful. You begin to understand what you ignored before. You begin to notice red flags. You begin to value peace more than excitement. You begin to see the difference between someone who loves you and someone who only needs you. You begin to understand that words are not enough, that actions matter, that consistency matters, that your nervous system matters, and that love should not feel like a battlefield every day. The healing process teaches you self-respect. It teaches you that you do not need to beg to be loved. It teaches you that you do not need to shrink yourself to be accepted. It teaches you that your peace is not too much to ask for. It teaches you that someone who truly values you will not make you feel confused all the time. It teaches you that letting go can be painful, but staying where you are not valued is even more painful. At first, these lessons may hurt, but later they become your strength. One day, you will be thankful that your eyes opened. One day, you will understand why certain things had to end. One day you will see that the ending was not only a loss, it was also a redirection. Life was not punishing you. It was teaching you to stop building a home in places where your soul could not rest. You may not understand everything right now, and that is okay. You do not need to understand every reason before you begin healing. Sometimes clarity comes later. Sometimes the meaning of pain is not visible while you are still inside it. When you are in the middle of a storm, you cannot always see the path. But after the storm passes, you begin to understand what it washed away, what it revealed, and what it taught you. So do not demand answers from life too quickly. Some answers need time. Some lessons become clear only after your heart becomes calm. Some truths can only be understood from a distance. For now, your work is not to solve everything. Your work is to breathe, to heal, to protect your peace, and to take the next small step forward. Trust the process even when it feels slow. Trust the quiet days. Trust the days when nothing big happens, but you choose not to return to old pain. Trust the mornings when you wake up and keep going. Trust the nights when you cry, but still choose yourself. Trust the moments when you feel tired, but do not give up. These moments are building something inside you. They are building emotional freedom. There is a part of you that is stronger than your pain. You may not feel it every day, but it is there. It is the part of you that keeps breathing. It is the part of you that wants peace. It is the part of you that knows you deserve better. It is the part of you that is tired of suffering and ready to grow. Listen to that part. Feed that part. Trust that part. Healing also means learning to stop measuring your progress by how often you remember the past. Remembering does not mean you are not healed. Sometimes a healed person still remembers. The difference is that the memory no longer controls them. The memory may come, but it does not pull them back into the same pain. The memory may exist, but it no longer decides their choices. This is freedom. Not a blank mind, but a peaceful heart. One day, the same memory that once broke you will become only a lesson. You will look back and feel a quiet sadness, but not destruction. You will remember what happened, but you will also remember how you survived. You will see that you became wiser, you became calmer, you became more protective of your peace. You became someone who no longer begs for love that should be given freely. This is why you must keep going, not because healing is easy, but because your future self is waiting for you. A calmer version of you is waiting. A wiser version of you is waiting. A version of you that sleeps peacefully, smiles honestly, and loves without losing itself is waiting. Do not abandon that future version just because the present feels heavy. Let time do its work, but do your work too. Let time soften the pain, but let your choices protect the healing. Let time create distance, but let wisdom create freedom. Do not rush. Do not quit. Do not turn one painful day into proof that you are not healing. You are healing every time you choose peace over chaos. You are healing every time you choose silence over begging. You are healing every time you choose self-respect over attachment. The river does not reach the ocean in one step. It moves slowly, through rocks, turns, storms, and quiet places. But it keeps moving. Be like the river. Do not force your healing, but do not stop flowing. Let every day carry you a little closer to peace. Let every breath remind you that you are still alive. Let every small act of self-kindness become a step toward freedom. And when the pain feels heavy, remember this: nothing in life stays the same forever. The night does not last forever. The storm does not last forever. The wound does not stay open forever when you stop touching it. Your heart may be tired now, but it is not finished. Your soul may be wounded now, but it is not broken beyond repair. Your life may feel quiet now, but it is still full of possibilities you have not seen yet. So trust the healing process. Trust the slow work. Trust the quiet growth. Trust the invisible changes happening inside you. You may not see the full result today, but every moment of patience, every act of self-respect, every breath of awareness, and every choice to let go is shaping you into someone freer. Let life be while it changes. Let people go when they cannot walk with you peacefully. Let yourself heal without rushing your heart. Time will not erase everything, but with wisdom, time will help you carry it differently. What once felt like a heavy chain can become a lesson. What once felt like an ending can become a beginning. What once broke your heart can become the place where your soul learned how to return to peace. Keep breathing. Keep choosing peace. Keep coming back to yourself. Your healing is already happening, even if it is slow. And slowly, with patience and awareness, you will become emotionally free. 9. Release the need to control everything. One of the biggest reasons people suffer is because they try to control everything. They try to control how life moves, how people behave, how relationships turn out, how quickly pain disappears, and how the future should look. The mind wants certainty. It wants guarantees. It wants to know that everything will happen exactly as planned. But life does not move like that. Life changes. People change. Feelings change. Situations change. And when you try to control what is always changing, your heart becomes tired. Buddhism teaches that life is impermanent. This means nothing stays the same forever. The people you love, the feelings you carry, the problems you face, the pain you feel, and even the version of yourself you are today will change with time. This truth can feel scary when you are attached to something, but it can also bring peace. Because if everything changes, then your pain can change too. Your sadness can change, your confusion can change, your heavy heart can become lighter. But for this to happen, You must stop trying to hold life so tightly. Many people believe that control will protect them from pain. They think if they overthink enough, worry enough, plan enough, or hold on tightly enough, they can stop bad things from happening. But control does not always protect you. Sometimes control becomes another form of suffering. You stay awake at night thinking about things you cannot change. You replay conversations, imagine different endings, and create fear about things that have not even happened yet. Your body becomes tense, your mind becomes noisy, and your heart forgets how to rest. The truth is, you cannot control everything. You cannot control whether someone loves you honestly. You cannot control whether someone stays loyal. You cannot control whether people understand your heart. You cannot control what others think about you. You cannot control the past. You cannot control every loss, every ending, every delay, or every disappointment. But you can control your response. You can control whether you keep chasing pain or choose peace. You can control whether you keep holding resentment or begin to release it. You can control whether you abandon yourself or return to yourself. This is where your real power begins, not in controlling life, but in controlling your attachment to how life should be. Not in forcing people to act the way you want, but in choosing your own peace when they do not. Not in making the past different, but in deciding that the past will not own your future. This is emotional freedom. It is not the freedom of having everything your way. It is the freedom of having peace, even when life does not follow your way. Sometimes you suffer because you keep trying to make people understand you. You explain your feelings again and again. You tell them how they hurt you. You hope that if you say it the right way, they will finally care. But some people do not lack information. They lack willingness. They already know how you feel, but they do not want to change. They already know they hurt you, but they do not want to take responsibility. They already know you are waiting for respect, but they are comfortable giving you confusion. Trying to control someone's understanding can destroy your peace. You cannot force someone to see your worth. You cannot force someone to feel guilt. You cannot force someone to become kind. You cannot force someone to give you the closure you deserve. At some point, you must stop explaining and start accepting. Not accepting that their behavior was right, but accepting that they may never give you what your heart is waiting for. And once you accept this, you stop giving them power over your healing. Releasing control also means letting people walk their own path. This can be painful, especially when you love someone. You may want to guide them, save them, change them, or make them see what they are losing. But every soul has its own journey. Some people learn through wisdom, and some people learn through consequences. Some people grow when they are loved, and some people only grow when they lose what they took for granted. You cannot walk another person's path for them. You cannot carry their lessons for them. You cannot force their awakening. When you stop trying to control people, you begin to see them more clearly. You stop asking, "How can I make them change?" And you start asking, "Is this person healthy for my peace?" You stop asking, "How can I make them choose me?" And you start asking, "Why am I choosing someone who makes me feel unwanted?" You stop asking, "How can I make them understand my pain?" And you start asking, "How can I care for my pain without waiting for them?" This shift is powerful. It brings your energy back to you. It reminds you that your life is not only about what others do. Your life is also about what you allow, what you accept, what you protect, and what you choose. You may not be able to control someone else's actions, but you can choose your boundaries. You may not be able to control whether they respect you, but you can choose whether you stay where disrespect continues. You may not be able to control whether they leave, but you can choose not to lose yourself when they go. Buddhism teaches us to practice non-attachment. Non-attachment does not mean you stop caring. It means you care without clinging. You love without trying to own. You give without losing yourself. You accept without forcing. You understand that everything in life is temporary, so you hold things gently instead of holding them with fear. When you hold something with fear, you suffer before anything even happens. You become afraid of losing it, afraid of change, afraid of silence, afraid of distance, afraid of endings. But when you hold life gently, you allow it to move, and you allow yourself to breathe. Think of your hand holding sand. If your hand stays open, the sand rests there naturally. But if you squeeze it tightly, the sand slips through your fingers. Life is the same. When you try to control everything too tightly, you often create more loss, more stress, and more pain. But when you open your hand, when you trust life a little more, when you stop gripping every outcome, you begin to feel lighter. This does not mean you stop making effort. Buddhism does not teach laziness. It teaches wise effort. There is a big difference between doing your part and trying to control the whole result. You can be kind, but you cannot control how people receive your kindness. You can love honestly, but you cannot control whether someone loves you the same way. You can work hard, but you cannot control every outcome. You can apologize, but you cannot control whether someone forgives you. You can set boundaries, but you cannot control whether people understand them. Your job is to act with wisdom. Life's job is to unfold. When you understand this, you stop carrying burdens that are not yours. Many people are exhausted because they are trying to carry everything. They carry other people's emotions. They carry other people's choices. They carry other people's mistakes. They carry the future before it arrives. They carry the past after it has passed. Their heart becomes heavy because they are holding more than any heart was meant to hold. Releasing control means putting down what does not belong to you. Ask yourself gently, is this mine to carry? Is another person's behavior yours to carry? No. Is their lack of honesty yours to carry? No. Is their inability to love properly yours to carry? No. Is the past yours to change? No. Is the future yours to fully control? No. What is yours? Your breath, your choices, your boundaries, your healing, your honesty, your peace, your next step. When you focus on what is yours, your life becomes calmer. You stop wasting energy on things outside your control. You stop fighting invisible battles in your mind. You stop trying to force people into roles they do not want to play. You stop demanding life to explain everything before you move forward. You begin to live with more trust, more patience, and more space inside your heart. One of the most painful forms of control is trying to control the past. You keep returning to old moments, wishing you had spoken differently, left earlier, trusted less, loved less, or understood sooner. You create different versions of the same story in your mind. You imagine what could have happened if you had made another choice. But the past is already complete. You cannot enter it again and change the scene. You can only learn from it. This is why self-forgiveness is important. You cannot release control if you are still trying to punish yourself for old choices. You did what you knew then. Now you know more. That is growth. Do not use your new wisdom to attack your old self. Use it to guide your future self. Say to yourself, I cannot change what happened, but I can change how I carry it. I cannot erase the past, but I can stop letting it control my present. I cannot become who I was before the pain, but I can become someone wiser after it. Releasing control also means accepting that not every question will receive an answer. Some endings will remain unclear. Some people will leave without explaining. Some situations will never make complete sense. The mind hates this because the mind wants closure. It wants a perfect answer. It wants a final conversation. It wants someone to say, this is why it happened. But life does not always give clean endings. Sometimes the only closure is the truth that you cannot keep waiting for closure. This is difficult, but it is also freeing. You do not need every answer to heal. You do not need every person to explain themselves before you move forward. You do not need to understand every detail of why someone hurt you. Sometimes the only answer you need is that it hurt, it was real, and you deserve to stop living inside it. Healing can begin without a full explanation. Peace can begin without a final conversation. Freedom can begin the moment you stop giving unanswered questions control over your life. The more you release control, the more you begin to trust the present moment. The present moment may not be perfect, but it is real. It is the only place where you can breathe. It is the only place where you can choose. It is the only place where healing happens. When your mind runs into the past, bring it back. When your mind runs into the future, bring it back. Say, right now, I am here. Right now, I can breathe. Right now, I can choose peace. This practice sounds simple, but it is deeply powerful. The mind will run away many times. That is normal. You do not need to become angry at your mind. Just bring it back gently, again and again. This is meditation in daily life. Not only sitting with closed eyes, but returning to awareness while walking, working, eating, resting, and feeling. Every return is a small victory. Every breath is a step away from suffering. When you release control, you also release the need to know exactly how your future will unfold. Many people suffer because they want life to show them the whole road before they take one step. They want proof that everything will be okay. They want certainty that they will not be hurt again. They want guarantees before they trust life. But life rarely gives guarantees. It gives moments. It gives lessons. It gives chances to grow. You do not need to see the whole path to take the next step. Trust does not mean you know everything will happen perfectly. Trust means you believe you can meet life with wisdom, even when things change. Trust means you understand that you have survived pain before, and you can survive change again. Trust means you stop demanding life to remove all uncertainty before you allow yourself to breathe. You can be uncertain and still be peaceful. You can be healing and still be strong. You can be afraid and still move forward. There is a quiet strength in surrender. Many people misunderstand surrender. They think surrender means giving up. But in Buddhism, surrender is not weakness. Surrender means you stop fighting reality. You stop wasting energy trying to control what cannot be controlled. You stop resisting the flow of life and start moving with awareness. Surrender means you do your part with sincerity, and then you release the result with peace. This is not easy at first. The mind will still want to hold on. It will still ask, what if they forget me? What if I never find peace? What if I made the wrong choice? What if life does not get better? When these thoughts come, do not fight them with anger. Just notice them. See them as fear, not truth. Say, fear is speaking right now. Then breathe. Let the fear pass through you without letting it drive your life. You are allowed to care and still release control. You are allowed to love and still let go. You are allowed to want something and still accept if life moves differently. You are allowed to feel sadness and still choose peace. Emotional freedom is not about becoming empty. It is about becoming steady. It is about feeling deeply without being controlled completely. It is about having a heart that is open but not chained. Releasing control also helps you stop chasing people who are not meant to stay. When you are attached, you may think, if I try harder, maybe they will love me. If I explain more, maybe they will understand. If I wait longer, maybe they will change. But sometimes, trying harder only takes you further away from yourself. Sometimes, the person does not need more of your effort. Sometimes you need more of your own respect. Let people show you who they are. Let life show you where it is guiding you. Let silence reveal what words cannot. Let distance show you what connection was real. Let endings teach you what your heart needs. Stop forcing every door to open. Some doors are closed because they are not your path anymore. Some people leave because their role in your life has ended. Some plans fail because life is redirecting you towards something your current mind cannot understand yet. This does not remove the pain, but it gives the pain meaning. You begin to see that every loss is not only punishment. Sometimes loss is protection. Sometimes rejection is redirection. Sometimes silence is an answer. Sometimes an ending is life's way of making space for your soul to grow. You may not see it immediately, but with time, you may understand why certain things could not stay. When you release control, your body begins to soften, your shoulders relax, your breath becomes deeper, your heart no longer feels like it must solve everything today. You start sleeping with more peace because you are not trying to carry tomorrow before it arrives. You begin to understand that life can be lived one moment at a time. You do not need to solve your whole future tonight. You do not need to understand your whole past today. You only need to return to this breath and take the next wise step. This is how healing becomes possible. Healing needs space. If your mind is full of control, there is no space for peace. If your hands are full of old pain, there is no space for new blessings. If your heart is full of fear, there is no space for trust. Releasing control creates space inside you. Space to breathe, space to rest, space to learn, space to receive what is healthier for your life. You may still feel pain, but the pain will no longer have the same grip. You may still face uncertainty, but uncertainty will no longer feel like an enemy. You may still remember the past, but the past will no longer be your home. Slowly, you will begin to understand that peace is not something you find when everything is controlled. Peace is something you find when you stop needing to control everything. So let life move. Let people choose. Let the past remain where it is. Let the future arrive one day at a time. Let your heart stop gripping what is hurting it. Let your mind stop fighting battles that cannot be won through overthinking. Let your soul rest from the exhausting need to manage everything. You are not responsible for controlling the entire world. You are responsible for how you meet this moment. You are responsible for how you speak to yourself. You are responsible for the boundaries you create. You are responsible for the peace you protect. You are responsible for the healing you choose. Everything else must be allowed to move in its own way. This is not losing power. This is finding real power. A person who needs to control everything is always afraid. But a person who can release control becomes free. They can love without fear. They can lose without being destroyed. They can change without breaking. They can face uncertainty without losing their center. This is the strength Buddhism teaches. A calm strength, a wise strength, a strength that comes from inside. So take a deep breath and loosen your grip. You do not have to hold everything so tightly. You do not have to force every outcome. You do not have to chase every person. You do not have to solve every question tonight. Let life breathe. Let your heart breathe. Let the present moment be enough for now. Release the need to control everything, and you will begin to feel the peace that control could never give you. Because peace does not come from making life obey you. Peace comes from learning how to stand calmly within life as it changes. Peace comes when you stop fighting every wave and learn how to float with awareness. Peace comes when you stop demanding that life become perfect before you allow yourself to rest. Let go of control. Let life unfold. Let people be who they are. Let the past be complete. Let the future arrive slowly. And let yourself return to the quiet truth inside you. You are safe in this breath. You are alive in this moment. And you are allowed to choose peace now. The more you release control, the lighter your heart becomes. The more you trust the present, the less the future frightens you. The more you stop forcing life, the more life begins to flow through you. And slowly, with patience and wisdom, you become emotionally free. 10. Build a new life without the weight of the past. After you let go, after you stop forcing people, after you begin healing, there comes a quiet moment where life asks you a very important question. What will you build now? This question can feel heavy at first, because for a long time, your energy may have been trapped in pain, memories, attachment, and emotional confusion. You were trying to understand what happened. You were trying to hold on to someone. You were trying to fix what broke. You were trying to survive the sadness inside you, but once you begin to release the past, you must also begin to build a new life, because healing is not only about leaving pain behind. Healing is also about creating peace ahead. Many people let go of something painful, but they do not know how to live after it. They stop talking to the person who hurt them, but their mind still lives with that person every day. They leave the painful place, but they carry the same sadness into every new room. They say they want peace, but they keep feeding the same memories, the same fears, and the same old story. This is why building a new life is so important. If you do not build something new, your heart may keep returning to what is familiar, even if what is familiar is painful. Buddhism teaches that the mind becomes shaped by what we repeatedly give attention to. If you keep giving attention to old wounds, old people, old disappointments, and old regrets, then your mind will keep living in old pain. But if you slowly begin giving attention to peace, wisdom, discipline, self-respect, and the present moment, then your inner world begins to change. Your life follows the direction of your attention. Where your attention goes again and again, your heart begins to live. So ask yourself gently, where is my attention going? Is it going toward the person who hurt me, or toward the person I am becoming? Is it going toward the past I cannot change, or toward the peace I can create today? Is it going toward old pain, or toward new healing? This question is powerful because it helps you see whether you are truly moving forward or only saying you are moving forward while still living inside the same emotional room. Building a new life does not mean you forget everything that happened. It does not mean you erase your past or pretend it never mattered. Your past taught you many things. It showed you what hurt you, what drained you, what you ignored, what you accepted for too long, and what your heart truly needs. But the past is meant to be a teacher, not a home. You can learn from it without sleeping inside it every night. You can remember it without letting it decide your whole future. Sometimes, the weight of the past becomes so familiar that you do not even realize you are still carrying it. You may carry it in the way you stop trusting people. You may carry it in the way you expect everyone to leave. You may carry it in the way you become scared of love, scared of silence, scared of being alone, or scared of starting again. Pain can change the way you see life if you do not heal it with awareness. This is why you must build a new life carefully, patiently, and consciously. Your new life must not be built from fear. It must be built from wisdom. Fear says, I will never trust anyone again. Wisdom says, I will trust slowly and watch actions carefully. Fear says, love only brings pain. Wisdom says, unhealthy attachment brings pain, but conscious love can bring peace. Fear says, I should close my heart forever. Wisdom says, I will keep my heart soft, but I will protect it with boundaries. This difference matters. If you build your new life from fear, your past still controls you. But if you build your new life from wisdom, your past becomes a lesson, not a prison. Buddhism teaches the middle path. This means you do not need to become extreme after pain. You do not need to become cold because someone hurt you. You do not need to become desperate because someone left. You do not need to hate love because one relationship failed. You do not need to trust everyone blindly, and you do not need to trust no one at all. The middle path is balance. It is living with an open heart and a clear mind. It is loving with kindness, but also with awareness. It is giving, but not losing yourself. It is remembering, but not being ruled by memory. To build a new life, you must begin with small daily choices. Many people wait for a big miracle. They wait for one powerful moment where everything changes. But life usually changes through small, repeated actions. A calmer morning, a cleaner room, a walk outside, a few minutes of prayer or meditation, a good meal, a night of proper sleep, a decision not to check what hurts you, a choice not to reply from anger, a moment where you breathe instead of reacting. These things may look small, but they are the bricks of your new life. Every peaceful choice is a brick. Every boundary is a brick. Every time you do not return to old pain, that is a brick. Every time you speak kindly to yourself, that is a brick. Every time you choose healing over drama, that is a brick. Slowly, these small choices build a new inner home, a home where your heart feels safer, a home where your mind becomes quieter, a home where you no longer need someone else's attention to feel valuable. Your new life must include self-respect. Without self-respect, you may keep repeating the same pain in different forms. Self-respect means you stop accepting less than your heart deserves. It means you stop calling disrespect love. It means you stop confusing inconsistency with mystery. It means you stop staying where your peace is always disturbed. It means you understand that being alone with dignity is better than being attached to someone who makes you feel unwanted. Self-respect is not pride. It is not arrogance. It is not thinking you are better than others. Self-respect is simply remembering that your heart matters too, your peace matters too, your time matters too, your life matters too. When you respect yourself, you stop begging people to treat you with basic kindness. You stop trying to prove your worth to those who benefit from you forgetting it. You stop giving unlimited access to people who only bring confusion. Buddhism teaches compassion, but compassion must include yourself. Some people misunderstand kindness. They think being kind means allowing everyone to hurt them. They think forgiveness means returning to the same pain. They think being spiritual means having no boundaries. But this is not true wisdom. You can be kind and still protect your peace. You can forgive and still keep distance. You can wish someone well and still decide they are not healthy for your life. You can love someone from far away without letting them enter your inner world again. Your new life must also include silence. Not the silence of sadness, but the silence of healing. There is a kind of silence that helps you hear your own soul again. After emotional pain, your mind can become very noisy. You think too much. You question too much. You remember too much. You imagine too much. Silence helps the mind settle. Silence gives your heart space to breathe. Silence teaches you that you do not need to explain everything, answer everything, react to everything, or chase every person who becomes distant. In silence you begin to notice what is true. You notice who brings peace and who brings confusion. You notice what habits heal you and what habits harm you. You notice how much energy you were giving to things that gave nothing back. You notice that your soul has been asking for rest for a long time. This kind of silence is not empty. It is full of wisdom. It is where your inner life becomes clear again. Building a new life also means changing the story you tell yourself. Many people keep repeating a painful story. I was abandoned. I was not enough. I was used. I always lose people. I cannot be happy. These stories may come from real pain, but if you repeat them every day, they become chains. You must gently begin telling yourself a new story. Not a fake story, not a story that denies what happened, but a story that gives your soul power again. Instead of saying, I was abandoned, say, someone left, but I am learning to stay with myself. Instead of saying, I was not enough, say, someone failed to value me, but my worth remains. Instead of saying, I was used, say, I gave from a pure heart, and now I am learning boundaries. Instead of saying, I always lose people, say, life removes some people so I can return to peace. Instead of saying, I cannot be happy, say, I am healing slowly, and happiness can find me again. The words you speak inside yourself matter. They become the emotional weather of your mind. If your inner voice is always dark, your heart will struggle to feel safe. But if your inner voice becomes gentle, honest and wise, your healing becomes easier. This does not mean lying to yourself. It means speaking to yourself in a way that helps you rise, instead of keeping you trapped. Your new life must include purpose. Pain can make life feel empty, especially when you lose someone or something that once gave your days meaning. But your purpose cannot depend only on another person. Your purpose must become rooted in your own growth, your own values, your own peace, and your own path. Ask yourself, what kind of person do I want to become after this pain? Not, how do I make them regret losing me? Not, how do I prove my worth to them? But how do I become someone my own soul can respect? This question changes everything. It moves your energy from revenge to growth, from obsession to discipline, from sadness to direction. You stop building your life around someone else's reaction, and you start building it around your own awakening. You begin to understand that the greatest response to pain is not becoming bitter. The greatest response is becoming wiser, calmer, stronger, and more peaceful than you were before. Buddhism teaches that suffering can become a doorway to awakening when we understand it deeply. Pain can either close your heart or open your eyes. It can make you repeat the same patterns, or it can help you break them. It can make you hate life, or it can teach you what truly matters. The pain itself is not the wisdom. The wisdom comes from how you meet the pain. If you meet it with awareness, it can transform you. So do not waste your pain. Let it teach you. Let it show you where you were attached. Let it show you where you ignored your own needs. Let it show you where you gave too much. Let it show you where you feared being alone. Let it show you where you looked for love outside yourself while forgetting the love you owed your own heart. These lessons are not meant to shame you. They are meant to guide you into a better life. Your new life must also include better boundaries with your own mind. Sometimes the person who hurts you is no longer near you, but your mind keeps bringing them back. It keeps replaying their voice, their face, their actions, and their absence. If you do not guide your mind, it will keep returning to familiar suffering. This is why awareness is important. When the mind returns to old pain, notice it gently and bring it back. You can say, I see this memory, but I do not need to live inside it. You can say, I feel this sadness, but I do not need to follow it into old suffering. You can say, this thought is here, but it is not my master. This is a simple practice, but over time, it changes your life. You stop letting every thought pull you away. You stop letting every memory decide your mood. You become the observer of the mind instead of its prisoner. Building a new life means learning to enjoy your own presence again. After being emotionally attached to someone, being alone can feel strange. You may feel empty at first because your heart is used to looking outward. But slowly, solitude can become peaceful. You can sit with yourself without feeling abandoned. You can spend time alone without feeling unwanted. You can enjoy quiet moments without needing someone to fill them. This is a beautiful sign of healing. Being alone does not mean you are unloved. It can mean you are becoming whole. It can mean you are learning to stop using others as an escape from yourself. It can mean you are rebuilding the relationship between you and your own soul. When your own presence becomes peaceful, you stop chasing people out of fear. You choose connection because it is healthy, not because you are desperate. This is freedom. Your new life must be protected from old doors that lead back to suffering. Sometimes the past will test you. A person may return when you are finally becoming peaceful. A memory may become strong again. A lonely night may make you want to reach back. In those moments, remember why you started healing. Remember the nights you cried. Remember the confusion. Remember the way your body felt when peace was missing. Do not let one soft memory erase the full truth of what hurt you. This does not mean you live with anger. It means you live with clarity. You can remember the good, but do not forget the pain. You can forgive the person, but do not forget what their pattern taught you. You can feel compassion, but do not abandon your boundaries. A peaceful heart is not a blind heart. A peaceful heart sees clearly and chooses wisely. Building a new life also means letting new blessings enter. Sometimes, people become so loyal to their pain that they do not allow happiness to return. They feel guilty for smiling, They feel guilty for moving on. They feel guilty for feeling peace without the person they once loved. But your healing is not a betrayal. Your peace is not disrespect. Your joy does not mean the past did not matter. It means the past no longer owns you. Allow life to be good again. Allow your mornings to feel lighter. Allow yourself to laugh without guilt. Allow yourself to meet kind people without comparing them to the ones who hurt you. Allow yourself to dream again. Allow yourself to feel hope. You are not required to stay broken just because something broke you. You are allowed to heal. You are allowed to grow. You are allowed to become happy again. The new life you build does not have to impress anyone. It does not have to be loud. It does not have to prove anything to the people who left. It only needs to bring peace to your soul. Sometimes the most powerful healing is quiet. You stop explaining yourself. You stop posting pain. You stop seeking attention from those who ignored you. You simply begin living differently. You choose calmer places, better habits, cleaner thoughts, and healthier people. Slowly, your life becomes proof that you survived without needing revenge. Revenge keeps you tied to the past. Peace sets you free. If your goal is to make someone regret losing you, your heart is still connected to their opinion. But if your goal is to become peaceful for yourself, then you are truly free. Do not build your new life as a message to someone else. Build it as a gift to yourself. Build it because your soul deserves a home that is not made of pain. Buddhism teaches that freedom comes when we stop clinging. This includes clinging to people, outcomes, memories, and even old versions of ourselves. Sometimes you must let go of who you were before the pain. Maybe that version of you was innocent, trusting, and unaware. Honor that version, but do not try to return completely to who you were. You are becoming someone new now, someone with deeper wisdom, someone with stronger boundaries, someone who knows the value of peace. Do not fear this new version of yourself. You may feel different, but different does not mean broken. You may be quieter, but quiet does not mean empty. You may be more careful, but careful does not mean cold. You may no longer tolerate what you once tolerated, and that is not bitterness, that is growth. Let yourself change in a healthy way. Let yourself become someone who can love deeply, but no longer lose themselves completely. Your new life must be built one mindful day at a time. Do not worry about becoming completely healed tomorrow. Do not pressure yourself to have everything figured out. Just ask, what is the next peaceful choice? Maybe the next peaceful choice is resting. Maybe it is deleting old messages. Maybe it is not replying. Maybe it is forgiving yourself. Maybe it is eating properly. Maybe it is taking a walk. Maybe it is choosing silence instead of drama. The next peaceful choice is always enough for now. Life becomes lighter when you stop trying to rebuild everything in one day. A temple is not built in one moment. A garden does not grow in one night. A heart does not heal in one breath. But one brick, one seed, one breath, one choice, one day at a time, something beautiful begins to form. Trust small steps. Trust quiet progress. Trust the slow return of peace. There will be days when your old pain tries to visit again. Do not be afraid. A memory returning does not mean your new life is failing. It only means your heart is still clearing what remains. Let the memory pass like a cloud. Do not build a home under it. Let the sadness move through you. Do not follow it back into the past. Let the thought appear. Do not make it your identity. This is how you practice freedom. As you build a new life, surround yourself with what supports your peace. Choose words that calm your mind. Choose people who respect your boundaries. Choose habits that strengthen your body. Choose environments that do not constantly remind you of pain. Choose content, music, books, and conversations that help your soul rise. Your environment matters because your heart is sensitive while healing. Protect it wisely. You do not need many people around you. You need the right energy around you. One peaceful person is better than many people who drain you. One honest connection is better than many fake attachments. One quiet evening of self-respect is better than 1,000 moments of chasing someone who makes you feel small. Quality matters more than quantity. Peace matters more than noise. Building a new life also means accepting that some people will not understand your change. Some may call you distant. Some may say you are different. Some may not like your boundaries. Some may miss the version of you that gave too much, tolerated too much, and returned too quickly. Let them misunderstand. You are not healing to fit into their comfort. You are healing to become free. When you start respecting yourself, people who benefited from your lack of boundaries may become uncomfortable. This does not mean you are wrong. It means the pattern is changing. Stay gentle, but stay firm. You do not need to explain your healing to everyone. You do not need permission to protect your peace. Your life belongs to you, and your heart deserves to feel safe inside it. The past may have taught you pain, but your future can teach you peace. The past may have shown you endings, but your future can show you new beginnings. The past may have taken certain people away, but your future can bring you closer to yourself. Do not let one painful chapter make you believe the whole book is sad. There are pages you have not lived yet. There are mornings you have not seen yet. There are blessings your wounded heart cannot imagine yet. This is why you must keep building. Even when you feel tired, build slowly. Even when you feel unsure, build gently. Even when you still remember, build with patience. Your new life does not require you to be perfectly healed. It only requires you to keep choosing what helps you heal. Over time, those choices will become your new identity. You will become someone who no longer runs toward pain, someone who no longer begs to be chosen, someone who no longer abandons their peace for temporary comfort. One day, you will notice that the past feels far away. Not because it disappeared, but because you moved. You moved through awareness. You moved through discipline. You moved through tears. You moved through quiet days. You moved through moments when you wanted to go back, but chose yourself instead. And when you look at your life, you will realize that healing was not only about losing pain, it was about finding yourself again. You will realize that the person who hurt you did not have the final power over your story. The ending did not destroy your future. The heartbreak did not remove your worth. The disappointment did not stop your soul from growing. You were wounded, but you were not finished. You were tired, but you were not defeated. You were lost for a while, but you were still being guided back to yourself. So build a new life without the weight of the past. Build it with peace. Build it with self-respect. Build it with patience. Build it with silence. Build it with better boundaries. Build it with a softer heart and a wiser mind. Build it not to prove anything to anyone, but to give your soul a place where it can finally rest. Let the past be a teacher, not a chain. Let the pain become wisdom, not bitterness. Let the ending become a beginning, not a prison. Let your heart open again, but this time with awareness. Let your life become lighter, not because nothing bad happened, but because you no longer carry it the same way. You are allowed to live again. You are allowed to feel peace again. You are allowed to become happy again. You are allowed to build a life that does not revolve around the people who hurt you. You are allowed to wake up one day and realize that your soul has finally come home. Let life be. Let people go. Let yourself heal. And then, slowly, with patience and wisdom, build a new life where your peace is no longer a visitor, but a home. Letting go is not always easy. Sometimes your heart will still remember. Sometimes your mind will still ask questions. Sometimes the past will try to pull you back into the same pain. But healing does not mean you never feel anything again. Healing means you feel the pain, understand the lesson, and still choose peace. Buddhism teaches that everything changes. People change, feelings change, seasons change, and even the pain inside your heart can change. What feels heavy today will not always feel heavy forever. What hurts you now can slowly become wisdom. What broke your heart can one day become the reason you learned how to protect your peace. So stop forcing life to happen the way you imagined. Stop forcing people to stay when their actions show they want to leave. Stop carrying old pain like it is your identity. You are not your heartbreak. You are not your loss. You are not the people who failed to value you. You are a soul that is learning, healing, growing, and becoming free. Let life be. Let it move. Let it change. Let it teach you. Let people go when they cannot walk with you peacefully. Let them choose their path, and you choose your peace. Do not chase what keeps hurting you. Do not beg for love that should come naturally. Do not lose yourself trying to hold someone who is not holding you with the same care. And most importantly, let yourself heal. Heal slowly. Heal honestly. Heal without shame. Give yourself the kindness you wanted from others. Give yourself the patience your heart needs. Give yourself permission to begin again, even if you do not have all the answers yet. One day, you will look back and realize that letting go did not destroy you. It saved you. It gave you space to breathe again. It gave your soul a chance to become calm again. It taught you that peace is more valuable than attachment, and self-respect is more powerful than chasing. So take a deep breath. Release what is heavy, forgive what you can, accept what you cannot change, walk away from what keeps breaking your peace, and trust that every step you take toward healing is a step toward freedom. Let life be, let people go, let yourself heal, and slowly you will become emotionally free.